This is Pastor Nathan Willard from Ankeny United Church of Christ coming to you today. The backdrop here is Iona Abbey. This is the place from which these prayers originate. It is the ancient Abbey Church on the Isle of Iona. I think this one dates to the 11th or 12th century. There was a wooden one there before that. It fell into disrepair for years. It was in total ruins until the Iona community came again and restored it in the 30s, 40s, 50s, into the 60s. And the Iona community at that time, there were clergy and there were unemployed or underemployed Scottish laborers who came to do all of the actual work to rebuild the stones. I think the roof was already put on in the 1920s, or at least paid for in the 1920s. But they made it into something modern that they could inhabit. And it's a reminder of that old and new, that the things around us that we see that seem ancient are nonetheless maintained by people working every day and inspired every day. But also we can't control everything. Look at the moss that's growing on the wall, the fern, that's growing on the wall, up above my head. That the nature that is around us is part of us and part of our lives. Today's poem is by Ruth, or today's prayer is by Ruth Burgess. It's called Today. And it gets, for me, into one of the reasons that we do pray. That as we think about our prayer lives, and many of us have, I think, what we could term as deficient or lacking prayer lives, we maybe don't think about doing it, we sometimes feel self-conscious praying. Or we sometimes feel self-indulgent praying, that maybe the only time we pray is we pray on behalf of someone we love, right? And we don't know what we're praying for. We don't know what else to do. And when you don't know what else to do, praying is a good thing to do. And one of the things we should do is think about the prayers that we make. Yes, we should ask God for help, but I think that we are right to think about the fact that we are all loved children of God, and why should the fact that someone is praying for one of them change their fate? And I don't think that's what prayer is for. Prayer, I think, is intended to change us and remind us of our relationship with God, remind us of the things that are out of our control, and remind us of the things that are in our control. That as we pray for healing, we ask ourselves, what is it that we need to do to heal? As we ask for intercession on behalf of our friends and loved ones, we can ask, how might we intercede with them in ways that they accept and will be healing for them? And the other thing that it reminds us to do on a daily basis is to frame our days. And to frame our days, reminding ourselves we can't control everything, but also there are things we can control. And if we start our day in prayer, reminding us of the things we can control, the things that we can hope for, the things we hope to accomplish during the day, or that we want to experience during the day in our relationship with God and this nature that is around us and the futures that we co-create with God, then the prayer can do that for us. And so I'm going to close with today's prayer. It's called Today by Ruth Burgess. Today may I give and receive love. Today may I work for justice. Today may I listen and pray. Today may I sing God's praises. Today may I delight in God's beauty. Today and every day. It's by Ruth Burgess, published in 50 Great Prayers from the Iona Community, collected by Neil Painter in 2009. This is Pastor Nathan Willard at Ankeny United Church of Christ, wishing you a good Thursday, September 10th, 2020.